Financial products. Guys, a very warm welcome again. I know you're seeing me in the second half of the day and you're like, must be wondering what is wrong with this girl, right? I'm like all the time live and I'm just coming online and you guys must be wondering what is happening. This is too much of news, too much of things to handle in a day. But that's okay. That's part and parcel of life. So we are back again and I have had amazing time so far. I was just I had my lunch. I'm on a diet right now. I am actually not having much of food, so just trying to cut my diet a bit so that I can feel a little healthy. And of late I have not been feeling healthy. The reason being maybe I'm eating way too much from outside, and it's also basically not like, it's not about, it's definitely I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I thought I should take a different routine altogether so that I can be feeling healthy and nice. Yeah, so let me just put my indicators, and I'm going to maybe use some other indicators too while I'm actually talking about all of this. Yeah, this one seems to be fine. As I usually prefer my system to be on my left hand side. I don't know somehow. Actually, yeah, I think in the morning we were like just watching the live cryptocurrency market. We were discussing about so many things that are happening on all the cryptocurrency front. Bitcoin 0.21%, it's still at 111,000 to 110. Oh, 110 as we talk about. Ethereum 2,661.56% positive. BNB 0.007. Solana also at 4.51%, 15%. XRP 437.95. So all of them are actually doing well. So in the morning we looked into all these cryptocurrencies and we were diving into Solana and XRP, which I couldn't do in the morning because I've got now two more hours to talk to you guys. So let's just see what's happening on Solana and XRP front, so that we know where we are heading towards, and we should be is this the right time to invest into any of this, given that all the cryptocurrencies are performing really well all this while. I think it's this time of the month usually when I have always observed like the end of the month, most of the cryptocurrencies outperform during this time. So I think that's with each of the cryptocurrency out here. So we can see Solana is also positive, Ethereum positive, Bitcoin it's like booming like crazy. So all of them are doing well, but there is obviously seriously some kind of information behind it. Of course, it's not just booming for the sake of booming. It is booming for a reason, and we did see some of the reasons for Bitcoin to kind of boom. It was mainly we saw that there's a lot of adoption that's happening across the globe for Bitcoin, especially Bitcoin getting accepted as strategic reserve. Second thing is, of course, there's a lot of financial institutions coming up to adopt Bitcoin as well as other cryptocurrencies as ways of they are trying to integrate this into their ecosystem to kind of make sure that Bitcoin and all the other cryptocurrencies are accepted worldwide as form of payments, as form of investments, as form of financial products across. So these kind of things, whatever is developing in the market, are actually taking all the cryptocurrencies for a upward trend. Of course, we have seen a bit of news on that front in the morning, where the CEOs and the co-founders of various companies, like I think there was we've seen the CoinDesk videos where they were discussing all about what is happening on the various forums. There was an Avalanche summit which was happening in London, where they are discussing what it looks like for the overall ecosystem for Avalanche, as well as what's happening on that front. I think it was a good piece of information. Let's look further what's happening on that front. Solana supports Apollo's tokenized fund, reflecting its potential in institutional finance and fostering DeFi integration with traditional finance sectors. Guys, I'm going to keep it a blend of both, trading and some kind of information here and there, so that we can have a bit of, information as well as some kind of interactive sessions. I don't want these sessions to be just one-way traffic. So guys, do speak to me when you are live. Just send me a hi. It would make me happy, and I can connect with you guys, not just related to crypto. You can also talk to me anything which is not so important too, guys. Come on, this is a platform where we can talk about anything and everything. I'm not restricting these streams to be just about crypto. Let's connect on a deeper level and talk more and more, and then we will be able to understand each other's journey. Now you must be wondering, what is this? This is basically, I have hurt my finger again. As you all know, that I am actually I end up doing something or the other nonsense, and this is what I have ended up while peeling off orange. I actually ended up hurting myself. So unfortunately, I couldn't really find a band-aid in office, because there's not much of time to kind of go and get a band-aid. So I ended up putting a tape on my hand, which is very much okay. I think it's okay, but I have a kind of for a temporary basis, I have resolved my issue, so that's very much okay. So let's see now what's happening on the Solana's front. Guys, I wanted to play the video which I was playing in the morning, but let's see. So the developers of, we saw this video already in the morning, where they are discussing what has been happening on the Washington DC front, where they met Donald Trump already. And it has been a very progressive meeting, and I think it's a good news for all the crypto developers, co-founders, crypto companies, for basically making sure that it's moving in the right direction, which is very important. I think from the stage where it was not even getting accepted to where it is now, it's obviously a very revolutionary change. It's obviously a thing that has to be, obviously it does matter, because in a decade, a lot of things have happened, a lot of things have changed, and definitely we know for a fact that as it is getting more and more accepted, it's becoming more and more stable, it's becoming more safer for all of us to invest, and gone are the days when basically we were not too sure to even get into such kind of things. But now we know that this particular, industry or this particular thing has so much to give us, to offer us. So let's just see what's happening on this front. I think we did look into this information.
March 7th, the crypto summit at the White House. Both of you were there. Give us the inside scoop. How was your trip to the crypto summit at the White House? Did you see or hear anything that surprised you? Maybe we start with you, Nathan, and go to Sergey.
Sure. So I think
Nathan and Sergey, they were basically part of the cryptocurrency summit. I don't want to take you through the same thing all over again. Maybe if I have something nice to play, I will play.
Hello and welcome to CoinDesk Live. We are coming to you from behind the scene.
that which inspires their own chain, right?
Good to see you again.
Thanks for having me. And that was kind of the vibe in 2018 because requisites to succeeding.
Energy. We're going to use more and more and more energy. We just need to get better at extracting.
Social. Talk to us about your vision for MeWe.
So that maybe way where your technology is global, but business is local. What works in the U.S. doesn't necessarily work in even Canada, right? And what works in Japan doesn't work in Korea, and vice versa. Different regions have different compliance and regulatory concerns, but they have different builders and different users and just different things. So I'll highlight some of the great stuff that we do. I know in Korea we've done fantastic work with enterprise and with gaming. In Japan, institutional work, most recently with Sumitomo Mitsui and Konami. Turkey, we have a very big developer community, more crypto native community payments. The Middle East, we're doing a lot in Saudi and the UAE around payments, remittance, cross-border, institutional. LATAM, a lot of payments again. So it's a little bit of everything. What's exciting to me is seeing how these connect. So especially with our Asia team, I know our Singapore team is working very closely with our Japan team and our Korea team, and we're doing some stuff there. We have XSGD, which is a Singapore dollar. They've been doing remittances and payments between enterprises with Hong Kong, so we're looking to establish a bigger presence in Hong Kong as well. So it's kind of like the regions are doing BD with each other, which is kind of cool because like two of my country leads or regional leads will like connect on an idea and then connect two people between each other. That's ultimately our job, is to facilitate and connect people and ideas and capital and developers to really help.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us
My pleasure.
behind the scenes of the summit.
Awesome.
That was Ava Labs Chief Business Officer John Nahas. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
I seeded Avalanche, what was it, 20?
Yeah. Welcome back to CoinDesk Live. We are joining you from the Avalanche Summit that is currently underway in London. This is the premier gathering for visionaries shaping the future of blockchain and Web3. We are now joined backstage by Dragonfly managing partner and founder Haseeb Qureshi. Hello, great to see you again.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Avalanche Summit. We're here in London. Talk to us about how you're looking at the Avalanche ecosystem. I know you participated in a pretty big round at the end of last year.
That's right. So we've been actually long-time investors in Avalanche. I seeded Avalanche, 2018? So a long time ago. I've known this team for a very long time. It's amazing. I mean, it's easy to lose sight of, but it's amazing to have seen an ecosystem grow from a tiny little startup into like having an entire crazy event like this. I think we're like on the Hogwarts campus or something. It's kind of a bizarre experience.
Queen Elizabeth I's childhood home.
Is that right?
Yes.
I had no idea. All I could see was like Harry Potter snippets as I was walking around this place. It does feel, it feels like an Emily Bronte novel walking around here. I've never been to a place like this. And I can only imagine how difficult it is to book out and create a whole immersive experience like we have here. So it's really cool, but candidly, Avalanche at this point is such a big ecosystem that even as a VC, I can't really get my arms around everybody who's building in the space. So I walk around, I'm talking to people. I just ran into the MapleStory team who got spun out from Nexon, and some of the other people. So them I knew because obviously it's a very big name and they had a big splash with launching their token last week. But with a lot of these other groups, I'm just like I had no idea that people from over here were building on Avalanche. That's really cool. So it does feel like. Crypto at this point is moving so fast, even as a VC, I can't keep my arms around the whole thing.
Is this like a 1% story? I mean, like you seeded Avalanche way back when. You come to this event, Avalanche has become such a big ecosystem. How often does this happen for you as a VC?
I mean, it's not that common. I mean, Avalanche is like basically like a top 10 token at this point. So obviously there's not a lot of those. But it is a feeling that I have every once in a while as a VC of seeing kind of, you see a little baby turn into a big, like grow up in front of you. And it's always a very somewhat crazy yet also nostalgic feeling of, oh man, I remember I was just talking about this to somebody else earlier today that, when I saw the seed round pitch for Avalanche, it was not what it is today. Right? It was so completely different than what it ended up becoming. And when you're investing in whether it's a founder or a startup or an ecosystem, the thing you're realizing is that you're not really betting on the idea that someone is literally telling you, because all ideas evolve. all startups change and iterate and respond to the stimuli because the crypto industry moves so fast that there's no way what you're going to end up building is the same thing you started building. And so I'll tell you, the seed round of Avalanche, when I originally met Goon, we were at a coffee shop in San Francisco, and what he was pitching me was that I'm going to take this Avalanche consensus protocol, which they still use. I'm going to take this Avalanche consensus protocol, and I'm going to use it to create forks of every blockchain. So I'm going to create a fork of Bitcoin called Avalanche Bitcoin, a fork of Ethereum called Avalanche Ethereum, a fork of Zcash called Avalanche Zcash, an XRP. We'll go down the list and create a shadow version of each of these chains. That was the original pitch, which obviously is batshit insane. But I was like, that is so aggressive and ambitious. Why not? Let's try it. And of course, that's not what they ended up doing, right? They ended up adapting to the fact that smart contracts blew up, Ethereum became this really big thing, they built the C chain, and it expanded into subnets, which are now L1s. And so this is the story of almost every startup, is that you respond to the market as the market evolves in front of you. And what you're betting on when you bet on a founder is you're betting on that repeated process of iteration and action, reaction, evolution, all that stuff, because crypto's changed so much. Right, is that if you were still building the same thing you were building in 2017, you'd be building some ghost IoT chain that was designed for ICO. Obviously you would not be doing that if you're still responding to the way in which the world has changed between now and then. So that most of all is what's heartening to see, is the way in which, I ran into some founders that I remember running into back in 2018. And all of them, you see the way in which they've learned and responded and evolved as founders. That's what's most, I think, motivating to see as an investor.
Take us back to 2018 and maybe compare it to 2025. What has changed about founders? Have they learned how to pitch to you better? Is there a sort of secret sauce that you're looking for that now someone else is looking and throwing at ChatGPT and say, how do I get Dragonfly to invest?
Oh, God. I hope that's not true, but I'm sure it is. I'd say in 2018, there was a lot more opacity in a pitch, right? So back then, somebody would pitch you, and the main goal was to just kind of be so confusing and to have so many...
Sounds smart.
Yeah, extremely large buzzwords that is kind of like, oh man, this must be really big. And that was kind of the vibe in 2018, because the reality is that a lot of people were investing in a lot of stuff they didn't really understand. And there was a sense that there's this penumbra that is bigger than what any of us understands, that what crypto is going to be someday, what ICOs are going to be someday. That was the heyday of ICOs. Today, what I look for in a great pitch, and I think increasingly what founders understand, is that they need to master their domain. They need to really understand it in and out. They need to have really strong and robust answers about how does your mechanism work, what's your go-to-market, what's the unit economics of this product or this protocol. So those things, I think people increasingly realize they actually need to own the details. In 2018, it was kind of the opposite. Is that the more detail-oriented you are, the less inspirational the pitch is, and as a result, the harder I can see the ICO to run. So that maybe is some of the difference between today and yesteryear. But most of all, I think people also realize that you can't kind of go into the deep end of the pool unless you really, really know what you're doing. Right? So increasingly today, I think I see a lot more grounded pitches than I saw in 2018, where today, you see something about MEV infrastructure. You see something about, okay, I'm going to build some kind of fintechy type app that's going to offer stablecoins. People say, okay, I can see that sounds like it would work. Or at least I can see the path to a go-to-market. Whereas, in 2018, somebody's building something for, self-driving truck automation using blockchains. It's like, okay, we don't have self-driving trucks. We don't have, blockchains that can work well in transit. But I'm sure those will all be done by the time your ICO launches. So that was very much the energy of what it was like back then. And now people are a lot more grounded.
At Consensus, which we just came from, I spoke to Jake Breckman from Coin Fund, and he said the advice he would give people who are pitching VCs is to focus more on their founder stories. I'm curious what your advice would be. Is it that, to focus on your story? Because like what you're saying, the company's going to change. You're going to iterate a bunch, but you need that VC to really believe in you and where you came from.
So it's true that I pay a lot of attention to your founder story. That being said, if you spend a lot of your time telling me your founder story, I'm going to mostly think you're kind of vain. The people who have really, really good founder stories, they generally don't spend all their time telling you what amazing people they are. It's just it's almost like inversely correlated with how impressive they actually are. So I would say it's good to have a good founder story, but you probably shouldn't be hitting on it too hard. Sort of let me come to you with respect to, okay, you've got an interesting story, you've got an interesting background. Mostly what I want to focus on is what you're doing and what, like your if you have hard accomplishments, great. But for the most part, like what I want to see is your competence emerge through your mastery of the thing that you're actually building or you're actually working on, right? And I'd say the pitches to me that convey the most mastery are the ones that are in a way the least structured and the most like teaching me, right? If you are kind of clicking through a PowerPoint step by step, I did this, here's my background, here's the mission statement, here's this. Those pitches, I think, tend to be the weakest because it really feels like, okay, this person's very wooden and kind of rehearsed their way through this thing that they've practiced in front of a mirror. Whereas the founders who have the most experience and are the most, again, in control, for them it's really like, hey, what do you know about this thing? Okay, great. And it becomes a conversation. And those types of founders who really feel like, okay, this person is actually a master. This person really, really understands MEV infrastructure or fintech or whatever it is. And I feel like I'm not sitting here watching a book report, but I'm instead like exploring this thing with this person. Those pitches tend to be the best.
It sounds to me that, I spend a lot of time with artists, these days, a lot more crypto artists, and the ones who are, the chain doesn't matter to them, whether AI is in or not, they just love the idea of creating, and they're going to create no matter what.
Right.
And so they know their craft so well that they're able to sort of express their craft in whatever medium possible. So it sounds like great founders are almost artists who are able to weave a great narrative, a great story, who they are, but also cohere it together to something that you can walk towards and say, I identify with this.
Exactly. And much like artists, great founders are obsessive. Like you get them running on their thing, and they'll just keep going and going and going, and like arbitrary levels of detail. And you kind of want, that twinge of autism, where it's just kind of like, okay, this person has gone way too deep on this particular thing, and I just want to know. I can't keep up with you, when we're talking about MEV infrastructure, but I want to know that you can go there, and because if you have, that really means to me that you're steeped in this thing, and it's kind of infused everything that you're doing, and that. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to succeed, but it is one of the prerequisites to succeeding, is knowing your craft better than anybody else can, such that, if that's the thing that we're competing on, nobody can win against you. That might not mean, it's still difficult to like get the go-to-market down, get the marketing down, get the capital together, all that stuff. It's all hard. It's not easy for anybody, even if you've got a very impressive background. But the more you own it, the easier it's going to be for you to sail through.
All right, Steve, we are going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Some great advice for founders there. That was Dragonfly managing partner and founder Haseeb Qureshi. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We will be right back.
Privacy-based.
Social. Talk to us about your vision for MeWe.
So it's interesting. MeWe.
Welcome back to the show. You are watching CoinDesk Live, and we are coming to you from the Avalanche Summit in London. We are at the historic Hatfield House, where top visionaries in blockchain and Web3 have gathered to share insights, alpha, and ideas. Our next guest joins us now, President and CEO of MeWe, Jeffrey Edel. Hello.
Thank you.
Well, okay, let's get right into it. I know that this is one of Sam's special interest topics. We're talking about decentralized social. Talk to us about your vision for MeWe.
So it's interesting. MeWe is a Web 2 platform, And so we come from a Web 2 world, which is a completely different way of going about jumping into the blockchain. So we spent about 8 years in that Web 2 world. MeWe is a privacy-based entity, if you will. We're what people don't even know. We have 21 million users on platform right now. And we literally have just around 2 million that have signed up on the blockchain. So we are the largest decentralized social media platform, bigger than Lens, and Farcaster, and Arena together. So our vision is that what we did was we made a deal with Avalanche to create an L1 on Avalanche and to launch something called a Soshi coin, which is our own utility, our own token, if you will. And that'll be able to do the finance side of things on platform.
So, Jeffrey, there's been a lot of talk over decentralized social in the last bunch of years. You already have 2 million folks on. How many of them know they're on blockchain?
Well, that's the key to all of this, is that the blockchain world, have I found it over the last 3 years, because I don't come from this world at all. I'm the ex-chairman of MySpace when it started. So I come from social media and I come from entertainment and television, but I don't come from blockchain. People that are not in this incestuous blockchain world or crypto world is a very small community. So we try to make it, though, that they don't know they're on the chain. And when it comes to onboarding and so forth, they literally go through a protocol that's through Polkadot, if you will, and that gets them validated and allows them to attach and assign a social graph to them, because the concept is portability. And then once they're into MeWe itself, now they're over on Avalanche. They don't even know that. And we have a test net running right now, but on Avalanche, that's when they're going to utilize the Soshi coin. And we also want to have embedded wallets. So again, it's not the kind of thing where you need a 50-digit code and you have to deal with all that. And I think that's probably the biggest obstacle to adoption, is the fact that you have to attract a mainstream audience, you have to speak to them in the mainstream language.
The social platforms that succeed end up with very habitual behaviors, right? I'm addicted to TikTok. I'm just scrolling my feed or going through Reels, or I'm constantly writing on Twitter. What is it about MeWe that makes it sort of special and work?
Well, the beauty of MeWe and the power of MeWe comes from our communities and our groups. We have 750,000 plus groups on MeWe. So you, whatever, you can come up with a great idea. I want to do climbing. I want to do wine in Tuscany, whatever it is. And you will create your own group, become an administrator in your own group, and then build that group. And blockchain will be wonderful, and our Soshi token will be wonderful as well, is because people will be able to mint NFTs, NFTIs, groups, etc. But it's really the power of the groups and the communities that's all about MeWe.
You know, as the former chairman of MySpace, I think you know this, but social media is all about virality. It's all about getting your friends to be in the same place you are. How do you think about grabbing that audience, grabbing that attention, and competing with the Facebooks and the TikToks that have billions of users already on the platform?
Great question. So when I first came on board, I had to come up with the vision for MeWe. MeWe had been around for about 8 years. It would add several thousand people every day. It was, at the time when I walked in the door, more politically motivated, and I wanted it to be more ubiquitous, something where it wasn't political, it was culture, it was lifestyle, it was family, it was all of that together, entertainment. So I looked around, and I know that back in the MySpace days when we sold to News Corp, Chris DeWolf and Tom, your best friend, went over there. I did not go. Our clocks were cleaned by Facebook because we got caught in a large organization. So what's happening in the MySpace world, I looked at it, or in the MeWe world rather, I didn't want to compete with the Facebooks of the world. I didn't want to compete with Instagram and Twitter. MeWe is privacy-based. We don't even serve ads. So your feeds, you reach 100% of the people that are following you in your network. It looks sort of Instagram-y in a way. So did not want to compete with Facebook, did not want to compete with Twitter, and so on. So I thought, rather than trying to be a small player and spend millions of dollars in the Web 2 world competing with these guys, I will just make a left turn here and jump into the blockchain world And so I partnered with Frank McCord. I don't know if you know McCord Global. Great guy, wonderful company. And originally we were Ethereum based, and then we moved over with Gavin into the Polkadot world, and that provided a real good technical environment for us. Then what happened was, like I said, that's your gateway into MeWe, but I knew we wanted to have our own token, our own currency and so forth, and that's what got us partnering with Avalanche in the Avalanche world. But we don't want to compete with the Facebooks of the world and so on. But if we have a stronghold in, like I said, almost 2 million people now on chain in this world, the effect, the market effect, the network effect will take place at some point in time. But I don't think it's going to come from the people within the blockchain world. It's going to come from the people outside of that. And that's what we think our communities, our interest groups, and then leveraging the Soshi coin is going to allow it to happen.
Just on the coin for a second, we have seen a lot of times when culture gets financialized, it sort of ruins the culture because people are now there to mine airdrops or sort of get involved. Even with Farcaster, I think the largest day they had on user growth was when they dropped, or one of the projects dropped a coin for rewarding you on usage. How do you keep the token to be really about participation and connection and community, and not have it be, I just can earn by posting?
Well, we were fortunate enough. We have great partners within MeWe. They're partners, everything from, like I said, McCord to the Polkadot Group to Avalanche, fantastic, and to our professionals and our offshore companies, etc. And Black Tokenomics is our economics group that helped design our token economy within the platform. So it's very geared towards using the token, but using it for the betterment of the world in a way. We didn't look at this project as a passion project. Of course, we're capitalists as well, but it's mainly about trying to do good for the world and trying to change and take away the power and the centralized control that big tech has on you. So we wanted to decentralize it. And our coin is going to be used as a matter of, you did a wonderful thing, we want to tip you. Great content, a lot of followers coming in, we want to tip. So we want to reward good behavior. And I think that will help us in terms of it not being so much of a financial result.
All right, thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, thank you.
That was MeWe CEO Jeffrey Edel. We are going to now take a look at what's being discussed on one of the stages.
We're now on 3 nanometer and 2 nanometer designs. We're pioneering optical computing, right, which is non-transistor based, so you can get smaller than 2 nanometers because you're computing with light as opposed to atoms of energy. And we're pioneering behind the meter co-location. So this idea that I can have a latent source of energy that's not connected to any grid, and I just rock up with a containerized Bitcoin mine, and all of a sudden, I'm tapped into the Bitcoin network, and I'm tapped into global capital Bitcoin markets because I can trade Bitcoin anywhere without needing permission from anyone. It is really beautiful. This is what it looks like. This is what I used to do. I used to work in the oil field in West Texas, where I started my career. This is where I'm spending my time now. Okay, this is what crypto is about. This is the future of crypto. So let's talk about it. Investment framework. So human progress is defined by our ability to manipulate energy and atoms over space-time. Never in the history of humanity has there been energy transition. We're not going to use less energy. We're going to use more and more and more energy. We just need to get better at extracting energy. We have a giant nuclear reactor in the sky. It's called the sun. Okay, PV is photovoltaics are so abundantly cheap, putting solar on the grid, very cheap, battery costs coming down. So the most obvious use case for blockchains and tokens and what's happening in the Avalanche ecosystem, in my view, find, fund, and facilitate the most efficient use of these thermodynamically constrained resources at civilization scale, not just here on planet Earth, but beyond, right? China this week shipped a 2 gigawatt space data center into outer space. Like, what the fuck are we doing making casinos on chain? We have people colonizing space and building data centers. What are we doing, guys? We have a ton of money. Let's do some really cool, innovative shit that actually matters to humanity. I'm very excited about this. There's a huge opportunity here, right? Crypto is this little orange bubble. We're like $3.5 trillion asset class today. Tiny. I want crypto to be a massive asset class, but where are those inflows going to come from? It's not just going to be from people buying coins. Okay, we need to actually build things for which there's persistent fee-paying demand. Today, there are only a number of blockchains that have persistent fee-paying demand that are sustainable. Most blockchains today are fully dependent on inflation in the form of token inflation and foundations funding their development. That's not sustainable, okay? So we need to find net new use cases that bring in fee-paying demand. Credit bubble, right? All of the biggest credit firms in the world have become infrastructure credit firms. $100 billion in credit and growing. Every sovereign investing in energy and compute. Every massive company investing in energy and compute. We as an industry could be massive. What are we doing? So let's build the future. This is what I'm investing in. New protocols, orchestration and optimization layers, net new commodities and markets where we can trade them, and aggregators and marketplaces. I'm going to walk you quickly through examples of each one and how it relates to what's happening on chain. I'm going to make these slides available for download so you don't have to take photos or try to read too fast. I like to cram a lot of information in. This is my problem. But they'll be available on my Twitter feed. You can download them, use them, copy them, do whatever you want with them. So a really cool example of a protocol is this protocol 00. They're building a new dedicated ISP. So they're taking dark fiber, it's not public internet fiber, but private fiber that's owned by high frequency trading firms, and they're building a new ISP, a new fiber network on which we can run distributed systems much more quickly. Super cool. If you can imagine, if we can speed up connectivity, right, if we have higher bandwidth, higher throughput, we also can do disaggregated storage. All of a sudden, edge computing, edge storage becomes much more viable. So in my view, this is the first of many, but we'll see decentralized bandwidth, right, in a way that's actually viable. We'll see decentralized distributed storage. You don't need a token for this. You don't need a token. You just need to build a network, and you need capital partners who own physical infrastructure that they want to dedicate to these things. So I'm very excited about this idea that we can go lower into the OSI stack beyond just the networking layer and actually start to get into the hardware layer and building new routing topologies, right, that leverage some of these novel traits of how blockchains function. So we've done a lot of engineering at the networking layer. What are we doing at the hardware layer? Right? Bitcoin is the only ecosystem today that has its custom hardware. The ZK ecosystem's trying, right? Inganyama and a few others are making ZPUs or dedicated ZK processing chips. What are we doing here? Let's go into those lower layers. Let's build our own dedicated hardware. Let's stop paying AWS and Google Cloud to run our compute workloads. Let's run them on crypto-native platforms and crypto-native distributed systems. Very exciting. Commodification. Okay, I get really excited about commodification. If we think about compute, right, as commodity, we started with on-prem, right? You had to run your own bare metal, very expensive, very high upfront costs. Then we had this whole era of cloud that made Web 2 possible, where all of a sudden you could one-click deploy a container, right, and run it anywhere. That made compute more of a commodity. And now DePIN and DeFi combined together are working on financing the build-out of compute capacity in new and novel ways. Bunch of projects working on that, and constructing compute networks in new and novel ways where you can consume latent compute capacity, whether that's on a computer, in a data center, potentially even on someone's phone, right? That's what Exa is trying to do with their approach. Really exciting. Optimization and orchestration. So you have all this hardware, you have all of these energy systems. How do they talk to one another, and how do you actually drive profitability? There, I think there's some really exciting opportunities. Like, blockchains are exceptional at solving complex coordination problems, right? And so this is an area where we're spending a lot of time, made a number of investments in how we actually go from single player mode, where you optimize one data center, to optimizing a whole grid or optimizing a whole set of data centers. So I think blockchains are really beautiful for aggregating, optimizing, and orchestrating using tokens or even stable coins as an incentive mechanism to drive that coordination. And then last but not least, talking really fast, you can download these, pick them apart. Aggregation of marketplaces. Daylight's a really exciting one. How do we take
So I think I would like to stop it here. And watch the markets for some time. Oh my god, that has been tremendous, big move to be honest. Wow. What's happening on that front? Major sell off. What's primarily happening here, we need to check out. Let's just ask ChatGPT if it has an answer. Oh my god, guys, look at that move. That's such a crazy move, I must say. That's a strong candle. Buy. We have to be careful on that front because there is further downfall that's been seen. That's a major dip for sure. We need to see this information. I don't know. So the native token of the emerging layer 1 blockchain, Sui has been gaining substantial momentum in the crypto market amid growing decentralized finance activity and strong technical signal, with the Sui network's decentralized exchange volume surpassing major competitors and recent token unlocks. This information has come on 22nd May 2025. So failing to dent investor confidence, many analysts and traders are turning bullish, predicting a breakout to the $5 price level. Wow, what a major downfall, isn't it? So Sui price predictions riding the wave of growing adoption. After surging more than 80% over the past month, Sui's price currently hovers around $3.80 to $4 mark. This rally has pushed Sui into the ranks of the top cryptocurrencies by market capitalization, fueled by significant milestones such as Grayscale launching the Sui Trust and 21 shares filing for a Sui-linked exchange-traded fund. These institutional moves reflect mounting confidence in the project's fundamentals. That's a bit of good news, but I don't know why is it falling actually. Sui is maintaining in a bullish structure by retesting the breakout zone near 3.65 to 3.75 after briefly reaching 3.94. Data from DeFi Llama highlights the rising total value logged within the Sui DeFi ecosystem, which has jumped significantly in recent months. This increase is largely driven by protocols like Sui Land and Navi, indicating growing liquidity and user engagement on the network. Sui DEX volume surges beyond major blockchains. Its most sensational growth is DEX trading volume, which has reached an eye-popping 48.4 billion in the first half of 2025 alone. The dwarfs volume on very popular layer 1 and layer 2 chains like Avalanche, Polygon, Optimism and Dawn, with typical DEX trading volumes often in the over $400 million range. Sui has become the traders' liquidity provider's destination of choice. Looks like it's a good news for Sui lovers, Sui crypto traders. The technical analysis, let's just read this through. This surge in trading activity can be attributed to Sui's low transaction fees, rapid confirmation times, and expanding suite of decentralized applications. The combination enhances the appeal of Sui network for active users and institutional participants alike. Technical analysis signal point to bullish scenario. Despite a scheduled token unlock on May 1st, releasing approximately 88 million Sui tokens worth around 350 million, the price resisted downward pressure. Instead, demand absorbed the new supply, allowing Sui to break out of a bullish pennant pattern and reaches the $4 resistance level. So, technical indicators validate the bull agreement, a golden cross, even where the 21-day exponential moving average across above the 200-day EMA suggests potential for long-term momentum upward. So despite of all that's happening, and even the major the major hack that has happened yesterday in the CETUS protocol, I guess it's still moving under good direction. I don't foresee anything that's been triggering for the downfall of the prices of SUI. Definitely, it's something which has gained a lot of popularity in recent past, and it has some promising things to be backed with. So I think it's because it's going to surge till $5. It does have a potential to break through and then reach above the $4 resistance level and push towards this psychological $5 mark. So I'm sure despite of all the recent or despite of all the the short-term pullbacks, there's always a time to for cryptocurrencies to hit back to the zone. I guess that's what has been happening with all of this. They do reach to a level and then they basically come back to certain level again. So it's always the roller coaster ride that we see. We see some of the liquidations happening like so quick, some of the things happening like way too fast, and then you see that market again suddenly rises up to its level. That has been happening even with all of the other cryptocurrencies, and it's just not with one. You can see right now at 4 p.m. I guess global markets being too active at this point in time, a lot of liquidations do happen, and then there's always a buying and then there's a selling point. So you can see even the Bitcoin, which was already trading at like 111,000 in the morning, has now suddenly come back to 108, which is like at 2.05% lower than what it was trading at. Ethereum has also gone down 3.83%, BNB 2.29, Solana, XRP 3.12. So guys, a very, very again saddening thing for all of us. No saddening thing, definitely it's a time to buy whenever the cryptos are down. Whether there are a combination of people, right? There are people who are selling, there are people who are buying. So even if you were not the seller at this time, you could be the buyer right now, and it's not something to worry about. Somebody in the stream like just about a couple of hours ago asked me what are my opinions on the liquidations that are happening. I am not worried about any of the liquidations that keep happening, because crypto markets are bound to have these roller coaster rides. And over my experience and whatever things that I do observe and analyze, I have this strong feeling that even if it goes for a toss for a shorter period of time, it does hit back once again. So it is not end of the world. Definitely it will reach back to its level. So yeah, that's what my opinion is all about. Let's just keep watching the markets. Let's just see what's happening across the news as well. All of the cryptocurrencies suddenly has seen a downfall. There's definitely something that has happened that has actually got the markets to go down like crazily right now. Why is crypto market? Shall I ask? I'm going to ask. So let's see if there's anything that's there on the news side. SUI's strong fundamentals, growing DeFi ecosystem, and technical indicators collectively point to a positive SUI coin forecast. The layer 1 blockchain backed by Miston Labs is rapidly gaining traction, reflected by its soaring trading volumes and increasing institutional interest. As the SUI token is nearing critical resistance at about $4, investors and traders are waiting with bated breath for a breakout that will push the coin towards $5. The evolving SUI price chart pattern suggests that barring unexpected bearish shifts, the next leg in SUI's rally may be imminent. So let's just hope whatever is being predicted about Sui comes true. I will be the most happiest person, given that I'm actually invested already into this cryptocurrency, and I totally believe in its potential, and so should you, because it does have a lot to offer for all of us, and I don't think there's anything wrong about it. So analysts are increasingly optimistic about Swiss potential to break above the $4 resistance and push towards a psychological $5 mark. Market watchers note the pattern of consolidation and reaccumulation in the 3.30 to 3.80 range resembles previous resembles previous setups that preceded strong rallies. Breaking above $4 would likely open the door for a significant upward impulse. This could be the trigger that breaks the range and opens up the next leg higher. So is currently trading at around 3.8, one maintaining key support above 3.65 to 3.70. That's a major move, actually speaking. Even though the market wasn't really running at any pace right now, it actually has gone almost like close to 7 to 8%. Sometimes I don't understand the way it starts it starts behaving. It's actually not even, I don't know if the significance of that particular news is that great. It kind of takes the cryptocurrency to this level, but yes, it is what it is. So this is where it has reached. It tried to reach till there, but it is here, and it continues to be stronger over there. It's almost like 7.49%, which is a 8% down fall. Such big moves are like crazy to really not understand it. They are so unpredictable, and Sui for sure of late I've seen that they have such major moves, always like some institutional whale entries and whale exits that are always part of this particular cryptocurrency. So you have to be like really careful in terms of investing and putting your money, because you never know. The next thing is like you see that it's a very big thing that's happening, and it's really difficult to kind of judge these movements out there. Even though I do follow these things so keenly, and still sometimes even I am perplexed. I'm like shocked at times, like the way it performs, it goes. It is not at all. It is highly unpredictable. So guys, you have to be careful in terms of whenever you're getting invested into any of the cryptocurrency. The more easier it moves, the more easier it also pulls back. So I don't know, now that the market has actually fallen almost like close to 7 to 8%, to be able to again reach back to that 6 to 8%, how much time is it going to take? We have no clue about it. It's easier for it to kind of fall within 1 second, but it's very difficult for it to kind of go back to that level again. It takes a lot of time to do so, and these are the times when we have to be like very crucial, like very I would say careful in terms of getting invested. Just a sec, I wanted to see this move actually. This move from here. Yeah, 3%. So on all the cryptocurrencies front, there seems to be no news as such. It's just a market small correction because obviously there has been, continuous growth, and the Bitcoin has reached its all-time high, and we saw that there was a huge rally that has been happening. So after that big rally, there's obviously a market correction that's happening after significant gain. So it's for the short term, but in the there will be growth in the medium to long term. So that is what is being said about all the cryptocurrency markets, like all the major crypto currencies. I want to know specifically what's happening with let's ask this question.
Broke 2 all-time highs yesterday, but early this morning, apparently Sui, a crypto that I hold, a fan favorite of the O Army, apparently it looked like they had some issues with their LP. So we're going to go ahead and break down everything that happened, talk about, was Sui hacked? Was it the LP? Was it the DEX? What exactly happened? So we're going to go ahead and break that down. The story is still developing, so we are going to, it's going to take a while to come to fruition and things to get situated with that, but I'm going to bring you guys the best updates. In addition to that, the fact that Bitcoin not only broke all-time high once, but twice yesterday, and we're still trading around $111,000 is insane. Absolutely insane. Shout out to everybody who's been here with me since the very beginning. We started this channel really making content 2018. That's when we really started doing this channel and doing content. I originally started it to showcase my meetups because I was doing a lot of free meetups because I wanted just to network and chat with people. I don't like my way this pony looks today, but my hair is so dusty and dirty I had to do something. It's like disgusting because I was at the Ren Fair this weekend. Anyways. And it actually is fun for kids. Like, they do have some adult stuff, but like they had so many like kid-friendly things there. Like, they had a little kids village and we just hung out there, and Lo had the best time ever. Except she demanded I get her chocolate strawberries, and I did, and her attitude. But anyways, those of you that have been here with me since the beginning, I first bought Bitcoin at about $7,700. And to see a trade over $100,000 today is insane. I bought Bitcoin below $7,700. I've gotten some, not at the exact bottom, but probably around $3,000 to $4,000 as well. As most of you guys know, Lo has her own little moon bag of Bitcoin that I got for her when price dumped from, I think it was, what was it? It was supposed to be like the critical area of support. Hold on a second. What is going on? Did we just get an update? Hold on a second. Hold on. When do we get an update? Hold on a second. What is this?
Such a crazy move to watch. I don't really know what's happening on this front actually. Let's just see what will happen on the front, if it's going to go, how is it going to recover. Definitely we all have to wait for quite some time because it's going under market correction, so it will be bouncing back again, but it will take some time. So guys, we're almost heading towards the end of the session. It's 4:47 and in next 5-10 minutes I have to wind up. So we saw that within just couple of minutes the market has taken a sudden downturn. News is not giving much of information as of now. I don't know, of course something would have happened in the background definitely, but it doesn't really say as of now. I can see that there is some bit of news that there's some market correction that's happening because Bitcoin as well as Bitcoin has reached its all-time high and there's a market correction that's happening. So probably because of that, all the cryptocurrency prices are down. We can see Bitcoin has come down to 108,000, which is down by 2.56%, Ethereum 4.14, BNB 3.27, Solana 0.71, XRP 3.41. So I think all of this is basically down because of the reason that there's a slight market correction that's happening, but it is just for a short-term period. Let's see if there's any kind of negative news around. So it does say that it's just a market correction. It doesn't have any specific news as such to kind of say that there is any significant thing that's impacting it. So I think we can still be optimistic about the fact, given that we are getting a chance to enter the market when the markets are down. Don't worry, don't panic, don't sell. Just take a new position and you're ready to go for another, ride all the, like, obviously it's moving a bit slow, and even in Sui I can see that it has gone how far it is oh my god, it's 9.9% down actually right now. So the market for Sui also doesn't look that great, and all the obviously stable currencies are also gone for a roller coaster ride right now. So let's just hope, because we are getting ample buying opportunity right now. It's not the time to panic, guys. Don't worry. It will again reach back to where it was. This is part and parcel of short-term liquidations, because obviously all the cryptocurrencies saw a very major turn out there. It is basically like, obviously Bitcoin especially has gone very high. So 111,000, which was the all-time high for it. It reached that in the morning. So I think, with the small correction out there, it will again be back to normal. So I think it's good time to start buying. So guys, what's up with you all? I did also purchase. I also have taken I'm also trading right now. I have taken Sui already at the golden ratio as per Fibonacci retracement, which is at 0.5 points. I took it at 3.72 is what I took the price at. So let's just hope that the market goes up from here. We saw that the market dipped from the previous low to 3.73, was almost around 2 to 3%, which is basically, as per the golden ratio, it's like standing at 0.5. So that's where I took my trade. Anyways, sometimes even though basically, when we are expecting a normal market where we don't feel like it's going to go further 8%, 9% like that. This is the actual and real, this could have been an ideal position, honestly speaking. But because of this sudden change, whatever has happened with Sui right now or with all the cryptocurrencies, I think it's still not a bad choice. We can still hope for it to recover in the shorter phase. Let's just hope that whatever the predictions are for it in the future, like maybe when it like it's going to hit $5 by the end of May, let's just hope that we achieve that and we have it going back to the same level as it was. So let's just be positive about it, guys. So most of you, I think you know for a fact that 0.618, usually when it when you want to take a position in shorter term, 0.618 points on Fibonacci retracement is what it indicates that you shouldn't be buying from that stage, because if that price is reaching below that level, it means that it is going to further go down. So any which ways, 0.618 when it hit, I actually took the position at the golden ratio. So it's fine. I know perhaps it might be a little slight delay for me to kind of get my profit while it's going to reach back to that level, but I am still positive on the front that whatever news is in the market, whatever the predictions are about it for the for it to kind of go back to its normal level, I am still optimistic that I will be able to get the profits, the desired profits that I am looking for. So guys, I think with this thing, I'm heading towards the end of the session. I'll be catching with you guys between I think tomorrow's same time, the way we have done it today, 11 to 1, and then 3 to 5 is what I'll be coming live, because we are going to stream for 4 hours each, and then in between you might see my co-host Yash, who is going to be there. So probably we might be doing 2 different topics altogether. You might get confused about what's happening across. So whichever session seems to be fine to you guys, you can join in. And definitely this is not going to be like just about cryptocurrency. So we can keep it more fun and we can add more fun elements to it, given that you guys are ready to participate in it, and conversely, reciprocate in terms of talking to me and sharing all that you think. You can share it with me. It's not necessary you have to talk just about crypto. You can just be yourself, just talk to me however you like, and we can keep these sessions more fun and entertaining. I would prefer you guys to talk to me in more normal way than you could talk about. I'm not expecting that everything that we talk about here has to be crypto related. So let's just connect on the other levels as well if you would like to, so that we have more like learning as well as more of fun together while we are doing both these things together. Okay, so I am winding up this session, guys. Hopefully you'll have safe trading journey ahead and have a great evening. And with this, I'm going to wind up the session. Tomorrow I'll be live at the same time. Now my co-host Yash will be joining in sometime, and we will catch with you tomorrow. And if in case by tomorrow, by the time I come to office and I am actually live, I will be sharing my my profit or loss, whatever my status would be at that point in time. I would share that details with you, if I was able to make profits or if I was able to make loss, whatever. I obviously I wouldn't share what loss I'm making. I can share it with you, but since I have not closed the trade, until I close the trade, it's not 100% sure that I made a loss, right? So I'll share with you until tomorrow. Maybe if in case I am I don't know what would be the status tomorrow. So let's just see tomorrow itself. So hopefully we'll have a chat tomorrow. So guys, take care of yourself. Have a great evening ahead. I am binding off. This is Nida Freen from CheezyBit and ZBit platform, taking a sign off. I'll catch with you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourself.